Hello viewers, you're welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you certain tips that will help you pass the WAEC biology practical examination question with ease. So do it to stick around and watch this video till the end. So tip number 1, which is very important, is that the practical examination makes up 30% of the final score. Hence, passing the practical examination gives you an edge in getting a good grade. Imagine getting 25 out of 30 from the practical examination and then getting 25 from objective. This gives us a total score of 50 just without answering the theory part, and 50 is equivalent to a C in the practical examination. Secondly, make sure you know various things about the specimen you are giving, ranging from the scientific name of that organism, the habitat that organism lives in, the shape, the color, and other necessary things you need to know about the specimen. So it is important to look at the various specimens that I'll be giving to you. Try to ask yourself, what are the possible questions they can ask me from this specimen? Will they tell me to draw this particular specimen? Will they ask me the scientific name? Will they ask me the habitat? Will they ask me what is the method of propagation if it's a plant? So ask yourself, what are the likely questions that will come out from this particular specimen? And this is very important because it should guide you on what to expect on the day of the examination. Tip number 3 is that scientific name, when written, must be underlined separately. So when you are writing the scientific name, you should write the genus name in capital letter and then the specific name in small letter. For example, the scientific name for the African elephant is Loxodonta africana. Loxodonta starts with a capital letter and Africana starts with a small letter, and then you must underline these names separately. Moving on to tip number 4 is that it is important you observe your specimen. You need to put down what you see, what you know about this specimen, and how you feel about this specimen. Even if you have watched on a cartoon that a particular insect has 12 pairs of walking legs, and before you in the examination hall, the insect has 3 pairs of walking legs, you are expected to write that the insect has 3 pairs of walking legs and not what you have seen somewhere else. Tip number 5 is that you should get ready to draw and label. Of course, this is biology and you'll be expected to draw. When you are told to draw, try to make a clear and sharp drawing. Do not draw with a pen, only draw with a pencil. So like I said, this is biology and it's not fine art. So just draw to your own ability. Don't ever try to shade, paint, or do whatever to make it look beautiful. No, just draw something to your own ability, provided it can represent what you are trying to describe. Also, when you are drawing, always ensure that you label your work to one side. It can be you are labeling to the left, or you are doing that to the right, or to the top, or to the bottom. And when you are done, always give your work a title. Probably you are told to draw longitudinal section of an orange. On the right longitudinal section of an orange fruit. In addition, we'll be given a space on our question paper to make some certain drawing. Now, when you are told to draw, ensure that your drawing covers a large area of that space. Don't ever try to draw a tiny diagram so that the tiny diagram is not even visible or just occupies very little space. Your diagram should cover the entire space of that space given to you. At least to tell us it should cover 2/3 or 3/4 of the space given to you. Next, when you have drawn any of the specimen, it is important, or it is mandatory, you calculate for what is called magnification. So on your screen you have the real image of a leaf, then you have a drawing of a leaf. Now, what's magnification? Magnification is simply the ratio of the size of the image or whatever you have drawn to the size rather of the actual specimen. So it is size or the length of your drawing over the length of the actual specimen. So in this case, the leaf given to us measures about 7 cm. Then our drawing measures about 20 cm. So when you divide 20 by 7, you end up getting 2.86. So that's the magnification of the diagram. So you must calculate for that and write it somewhere towards the lower corner of your space. Just calculate it and write it. It is very important you do that in the biology practical examination. So moving on to tip number 6, when you have to contrast means the difference. When you have to contrast between two specimens, it is best to answer this question on a table. So always draw a table when you are told to find difference between two specimens. Also, your table makes your work look more attractive, more presentable, and also summarize for the examiner when he or she is marking your question paper. And also, when using a table, try to be consistent on each line. Like, have a key for each line. What does this mean? If on the first line you're talking about habitat, or you are told to differentiate between a grasshopper and a tilapia fish, on the first line you could talk about the habitat. You can say, okay, probably number 1, grasshoppers are land plants. That's under the column for grasshopper. Then for tilapia, the aquatic animal. Don't go and write under grasshopper. Grasshopper feed on herbs. Then you now go or plants. Then on that first line for tilapia fish, not like tilapia, the aquatic animal, the mode of feeding on one side and the habitat on the other side are two different things. So don't try to compare using different keys on the same line. So stick with one key. You could probably talk about the habitat on the first line. Let's say the grasshoppers are land animals or terrestrial animals. They can write for tilapia fish, the aquatic. They can move to the second line, talk about their mode of feeding. Grasshopper feeds on, let's say, plant and the likes. They can write, okay, for tilapia fish, they feed on phytoplankton and zooplankton. So that's how you should use a table. Then lastly, when you are told to identify a specimen, it's very easy. Identify means what is that specimen that you can see, or it simply means the name of the specimen. So if what is before you is the lungs of a domestic fowl, simply write the lungs of a domestic fowl. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you learned something from this video or you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like this video. Also, do it to subscribe to this channel so that whenever I release any video, you always get notified. And also do it to share this video to your friends who are writing similar exam just like you.